Alrighty, let's see. Test, test. Let's get started, and whoever watches the VOD can catch up to things. Alrighty. I just had a car accident, a small one like a scratch or a bump. Terrified me because I've never experienced it. A few of my friends invalidated my scared feeling, but it's okay. They're not toxic. Just can't understand sometimes. Minor situation, but... And let's see. Yeah, I remember that from the first time it happened to me. Bothered me for weeks. Let's see. Try not to hold it against your friends. I think this kind of thing gets boring earlier for some people. when they've already experienced it. In the end, it's not that huge a deal, but a first-time incident is always pretty jarring. Glad to read it wasn't a huge accident. Hope you hope it doesn't linger in your mind for too long. First time accidents. Mine was a rental car, so that was even worse. It's worse when it's not even your own car. Let's see. I've had a sort of maladaptive daydreaming problem for a while now. Maladaptive? But it's always romantic sort of scenarios. It used to just be made-up people, but the second I begin to see or meet someone I find even the littlest bit attractive, my mind immediately goes to that familiar face and person. Oh, spelling. Always with the spelling. Oh. Sounds like hormones are hitting you hard. You know, it's hard not to give a boomer response, but at the end of the day, when you're as old as me, the writing's pretty much on the wall. Sounds like the hormones are hitting you hard. I used to do that all the time when I was a teenager. It's an awful situation because it's actually a very difficult thing to get control of. As long as you're not letting your imagination run too wild or expect certain realities to come from it, it should be fine. Just be prepared that you might make some unfortunate mistakes in the future because of this impulse. Unfortunate, let's say embarrassing. Let's see. Just be prepared that you might make some embarrassing mistakes in the future because of this instinct, not impulse. It's an unfortunate rite of passage as you grow up. Good luck, buddy. Something like that. What's interesting about the sticker selection here is that there aren't any options that seem to suggest romance at all, which I think must be a very carefully calculated decision on the devs' parts. The only way to make things safe is to make them not creepy after all. I want to become better, but I'm not sure I can succeed. Simple. Why? Wanting to become better is good. Failing costs nothing. Don't let apprehension hold you back, especially from a personal endeavor. Be a little encouraging. I think thumbs up Optimus Prime is appropriate here. Oh, all right. Let's see. It's a vital period in my life because I am a Chinese senior high school student in grade 3. I used to get very excellent scores, but now I always make some careless mistakes, which makes me farther and farther from my dream. I'm confused and helpless. Now this is tricky because, especially with Asian students, especially in their native country, this kind of thing isn't as easy to brush off. Let's see. Not to mention, they're probably getting pressure from their parents, especially if it's high school grade scores. Yeesh. Unfortunately, Asians have a problem where if their kids are struggling academically, they aren't like, hey, take a break, try to recenter yourself. They threaten them with violence and disownership sometimes. So it's a tricky thing. I want to say, hey Fana, welcome back. How's it going? Using the FGC emote. No fighting games today, but soon. I'm at the point where I'm stream ready for it now, finally. Oh, the random... I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, Twitch is still a weird mystery to me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, Vexed, welcome back. You were from the before times, if I remember. Incidentally, when I was playing fighting games. But yeah, it's been a couple weeks. The folks have finally left the house, and I'm free to do as I wish in the evenings. It's been like a good long time since I've done a round of kind words, so I figured this would be a good chance to kind of mentally recenter. But yeah, right now, trying to address how to help this poor Chinese high school student who's making careless mistakes and is scared about it. Sounds like you might be experiencing some burnout. It happens from time to time when you're hyper focused on studying, and sometimes it helps just to take a step away and mentally reset. Back when I played an unhealthy amount of Marvel and Persona. Oh no. I started playing Persona again. It is actually fun. It's weird. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I do, but once they roll that netcode patch, I'm looking forward to the added competition again. I'm sure you're probably under a lot of stress, not only from school, but also your parents. If you have anything you can do to relax a bit, maybe try doing some of that before your next exam. I think increasing panic just makes things worse. Jacko, oh my gosh. All you people are coming back all of a sudden? Instead of studying, how about sleeping? Fana, don't be ridiculous. People aren't allowed to have human rights, especially Asian students. Damn. Jacko, are you playing fighting games still too? Are you playing Persona? Let's see. What can we give this person to tell them to chill out? Maybe this slime. Oh my god. Fana, some of these guys who occasionally pop in, they were from my old community about 8 years ago when all I did was play fighting games, so it's kind of a trope. Ooh, Dragon Ball Fighters. That's a good one. Oh, man. I tried to get into that. I don't know why. I think it's like the multitude of Gokus that kind of turns me off to the game, to be honest. I gave it a fair shake for a while, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have a hard time with some of the newer fighting games for some reason. Jacko, Parsec. Oh god, Parsec. Ultimate Marvel. I mean, you still gotta know who you're playing with on Parsec in order for it to work, right? I don't know. I have Marvel. I've kind of let go of, and I have been playing Persona since its reemergence because it's actually got like a pretty good random ranked community now. If I still had the old community, I probably could have done Parsec, but not so much these days. I've got to rebuild. But yeah. Fana, you've got a Goku for every color of the rainbow now. It's ridiculous. Let's see. My English is not very good. It's so annoying. So this is what's interesting about the game right now. And by the game, I mean this game. There was actually a patch update recently, and the developer notes actually put in a note for an influx of Chinese users, which I found very, very fascinating. Last one's very clearly Chinese. I get the feeling this person might be as well. So you don't get very many names that start with an X. How's the Persona 4 community? I mean, Jacko, it's about as small as it's always been, but there are a lot of holdouts waiting for that rollback netcode patch, unfortunately. But that said, I'm able to get a random matchmake like every 10 seconds, which I consider pretty good. So I'm enjoying being able to just, enlist in ranked matches and just be able to play consistently. It's great. I haven't had that in a very long time. Let's see. X. If you're having trouble with your English, I think the best thing you can do is try to get in the habit of speaking with a native English speaker. Look into language exchange programs. Where do people go to actually verbally chat with other people now? Right? Like, it's interesting because... Look into language exchange programs. Or maybe try putting yourself on a platform where you just practice speaking and you can get feedback. I used to be really bad at speaking until I live streamed. So that kind of regular practice could help. I don't know how it works in China, though. I hear live streaming kind of has some different regulations depending on what country it's happening from. But yeah, I would say that's about the best I can suggest there. What game is this? Jacko, this game is called Kind Words. And so the premise of this game is that people submit kind of anonymous messages out into the world, kind of looking for guidance, or if they have certain concerns, personal problems, they're looking for advice, they send out a letter out into the world. And basically anyone who's on this game can encounter these letters and respond to them. These are real messages. So what I'm literally writing back, someone else is reading. Yeah, no. Like, one of the big things is when I discovered this game, I think it would be great for there to be more eyes on this, because it's, especially at the age where I'm at, and we're at the age where most of you guys are at, I imagine, if you were watching me 8 years ago. Yeah, it's online, it's kind of in real time. The messages go around. If they get answered about 5 times or so, they go out of circulation, and then and then you get reintroduced to new issues that you can answer or try to address. So yeah, no, it's kind of like it's like an advice column. Everything's anonymous. You can't go back and forth with the person. There's only one response. So the devs are super focused on making this kind of a safe, sort of honest exchange. And surprisingly, no one's been an asshole on this platform, which, you know. Vexed, you're old. I think anyone who watched me 8 years ago is old. Fana is a newcomer since I started this game, so I don't think Fana counts as much as the rest of you guys. If you played MVC3, you're old. I'm sorry. Or started really, really young. Oh my god, you were watching me when you were 16. That's disgusting. Let's see. Do you know Qingming Festival? It's from China, and this festival, my class will hold a party with the other class. I am single now. I want to find a girlfriend. How can I grasp this chance? Wow. Yeah, the devs weren't kidding about the influx of Chinese users. I wonder... It's interesting because politically I feel like a game like this would be blocked out because of free speech, right? And like American influence. This is a very fascinating political circumstance. I am single now and want to find a girlfriend. Oh boy. Anyone in the chat successfully got a boyfriend or girlfriend in high school? Because, like, I didn't, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know how to help this person. And I feel bad because, you know, this feels very honest and wholesome. Let's see. I don't know much about the Qingming Festival either, but let's see. What can we say? Didn't even bother with that in high school. You know, Jacko, you probably made the right decision. Trying to date in high school is a whole lot of embarrassment and heartache. I'm single now. I want to find a girlfriend. It's kind of crazy. I remember players saying they were 30 and I was like, wow, you're so old. Vexed. Yeah, no, that's why I always assumed everyone watching was a lot younger than me when I streamed, because I was 30 back then. Surprise, surprise, I just revealed my age, but, you know. I got started in the game pretty late. But you know, I was always doing it for fun. I never showed my face. But yeah, no, I imagine a lot of you guys who used to watch have, you could have gone through high school and college by now. I heard from one old viewer that they have, that they're married and have a kid, so I was like, damn, time skips are, pretty crazy. How can I grasp this chance? You don't have to wait for a festival to try to date someone. That said, you have to ease into it slowly, I think. Talk with the person you're interested and try to figure out if they would be interested in someone like you. If they don't seem interested, don't try to force the issue. But you could always try to just make friends to get a better understanding for next time. Be patient and don't be sudden. Good luck. At the end of the day, the only thing I can really tell this person is just try not to be cringe, right? I think back in high school, there was always that uncomfortable moment where you have a crush on a girl, or a boy maybe, and you do something crazy like just go up to them and say, hey, wanna go out? And there's that moment where, you know, you've shot your shot, but there's like this pause because your execution was just so sudden and so uncomfortable that the person you know, the person you're into, doesn't know how to answer. And you know you fucked it up forever. They'll never give you another shot. Honestly, I wish they taught that in middle school. When they're talking about puberty, they gotta tell you how to not be cringe. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. My friend is super homophobic. I don't know how to tell him I'm actually gay. Yeah, Jacko Man, facts. This is the knowledge I can impart on Twitch as a as a middle-aged man who was once a fighting game nerd. I am uniquely qualified to give out this life advice. I mean, we all relate to this at some point, I'm sure. Like, you don't grow up without doing something cringe at some point. And if you can help someone avoid that situation, all the best. But sometimes it's just gotta happen. So tough situation here because homophobia. I'm actually kind of surprised to see that this is a thing still happening. Well, maybe we're not that progressive yet as a species. But let's see. D. Are you sure he's homophobic and just not ignorantly using homophobic slurs? I think a lot of people who aren't truly aware of the situation say things like, "This is gay," and don't really realize the implications behind it. If he's your friend, hopefully he'd be receptive to the idea of you coming out, though you should prepare for the likelihood of him being awkward for a while. Now this is kind of the funny thing, right? Because I think in dealing with people who aren't comfortable around homosexuals, right? The thing is, a lot of straight guys have this weird instinct that if a guy is a homosexual, he may come on to you, which when you think about it from like a female perspective for heterosexual relationships, it's almost an accurate sort of representation. It's almost like the heterosexual male knows how they are to women and are therefore fearful of that when they realize a man is homosexual. So it's an interesting sort of dynamic to kind of realize, especially these days. Let's see. Let's see. As long as you can rationally express that he has no fear of you coming onto him, I think that'll address the bulk of whatever might weird him out. Good luck. Yeah, no, it's a funny thing. I once got hit on at the supermarket by a man. And for the first time in my life, I realized this is what fucking women go through. I'm like, in the aisle, just trying to buy some goddamn mashed potatoes. This dude just comes up to me and starts asking all these personal questions. I'm like, dude, why are you asking me what my major is? I'm 30 fucking years old. I just want to buy these mashed potatoes and get home for Thanksgiving. Leave me alone, man. But yeah, it's a funny sort of circumstance. All right. I'm lost because of the leaving of my girlfriend. Yeah, my Snapchat got leaked on some website. Got texts creeping me all the time now. Yikes. Sorry to hear that, Fana. No, that's unfortunate. No, dudes are kind of the worst, and I think on a certain level, dudes know this. Especially homophobic dudes. Because they're afraid that, like, what they do to other women is going to happen to them by other dudes. And they ironically find it just as uncomfortable, right? Ah, dudes texting you. Snapchat, Jesus. Social media is a scary world out there. I'm lost because of the leaving of my girlfriend. I get the feeling this is ESL. But I know that this kind of thing must be gone through by myself. Hey strangers. Hope you have a nice day. Yeah, I mean, Jacko, it's like... I think it's tricky because for guys and girls, right? For the most part, I think girls are pretty much going to expect harassment at any turn. Whereas guys, for the most part, go unmolested unless you post something really cringe or stupid. Like, unfortunately, girls have it pretty bad because they just get it because of their gender, right? I always feel very like... I always feel good whenever I see girls fight back, though. And so when you put in a really good zinger or like publicly shame someone who's just being an asshole, I'm all for that. because we got to even the playing field at some point. Let's see. No, this is kind of gone through by myself. Good to see you're taking it in a positive stride. Try not to get too hung up over it. Relationships aren't everything. And if you can get into one, you can get into another in the future. Also, there's nothing wrong with being single. Copium. Types the single man behind the live stream. It's an interesting sort of situation, I think, especially as an older person being single. I used to be obsessed about it all the time. Like, really hung up over the fact that I was single. But I think if you see enough relationships and like see how many of them go awry and for what reasons, you kind of realize it's definitely better to be single than in a bad relationship. And so if you're faced with that kind of fear, right, suddenly being single isn't such a awful thing. And you can kind of accept the existence. You're single because you haven't encountered someone that would work for your personality, and that's fine. Because the alternative is a lot scarier. I'm liking today's variety. It's not like, fuck my life, this girl doesn't like me, they likes my best friend or something. I think the last round I did of this game, I was particularly annoyed. I'm sad that I may give up my childhood dreams. I don't know. Do childhood dreams really... I get the feeling this is another ESL student, right? Childhood dreams? What does a dream mean for someone like that? Let's see. Sometimes childhood dreams aren't really viable. We don't really know what it means to be something when we're kids. So I don't think the loss of that is necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you have to adjust your course as you learn more about yourself. Depends on what the dream is. I dreamed of leaving the house more than once a week. Yeah, I mean, I feel like childhood dreams are things you decide you want to do when you're younger, but don't really have the context to understand, right? Like, people will say, my childhood dream was to be an astronaut, but like, fucking, I think about going into space now, and it's like, you're exposed to cosmic radiation. There's a vacuum out there. You could die. And suddenly it's like, astronaut doesn't sound so cool. Just focus. Just worry about Just think about what would be viable that would make you happy as you are now. And try not to grieve the loss of something you thought you could do. Something like that. I think it's an interesting sort of philosophy I think we have to deal with as we grow older, is the idea that good enough is good enough. And you shouldn't be hung up on the fact that you're missing out on what you think you should have. But that's one way of looking at it. Some people have the other way of thinking, and they do make it work, but I think statistically I'm more of a skeptic when it comes to idealists like that. Let's see, I'm unhappy recently, but I don't know why. Interesting. Influx of Chinese users. I wonder if this is all related. I could be polluting the minds of Chinese residents right now with my American idealism. Imagine the power behind all this. If you're struggling with depression, maybe see if you can seek professional mental health. I think there's a bad reputation for using it, even though there shouldn't be anything to be, even though there's nothing to be ashamed of in seeking it. Even if you're not the most depressed person, it can give you some insight and help you be better in unexpected ways. Good luck. I hope you give it some serious consideration. What's also tricky is mental health in foreign countries is don't know what the quality of it is depending on the nation you're asking, right? I could say in my ethnic country, it's not really considered very seriously. Like, people kind of are shamed into not even considering the possibility. So we might be dropping some very uncomfortable suggestions on these people, if they are writing from where I think they are. Let's see. Hey, Known, welcome back. Did you finish work today? I'm surprised you're on this early. Let's see. I fell in love with a person I know is impossible with her. Oh God, here we go again. I fell in love with a person I know is impossible with her, should continue to love. I often feel tired, be swayed by considerations, have gain and loss. Let's see. L. Sometimes it's easier to just get over it by telling them. Nah, no work. Was at a barbecue though. Oh, that's good. Barbecue's always great. Outings are great. And geez, I forgot that, like... Is it me, or has everyone kind of forgotten about COVID at this point? Right? Like, you still see the mask on signs at stores and restaurants, but, like, for the most part, I think social life is almost back to quote-unquote normal, right? Hanging out with people, having dinner, going places. It kind of snuck up on us when we weren't looking. Drinking with a friend. No, that's good. I can't drink, unfortunately. I don't have the enzyme and it just gives me headaches. It's an unfortunate condition. By telling them without expecting success. Do you know this person personally? I think it could go smoother if you honestly just tell them you like them. But if you honestly just tell them you like them, but let them know you don't expect anything from it and just want to get over the feeling. Rejection makes it easy to get over attraction. And as long as you can take it gracefully, I think that can be the best outcome. I've been sure to get my shots and such, but we were hanging out on the porch, dunking. Oh damn, basketball, huh? No, that sounds great. That sounds wonderful. God, just hang out at a person's house. Used to do that quite a bit actually, but I'm unfortunately the last single friend in my circle, so it's a little tricky doing that. Three's always a crowd, unfortunately. Let's see. I don't know how to study. I don't know how to balance between my study and my love. Economics is difficult, and I really miss my late grandpa. Huh. These are very interesting requests coming in today. I wonder. I know how to balance between my study and my love. Okay, so not like... They're not talking about sex. They're not talking about an active relationship. It just sounds like they're heartbroken. And they're having a hard time studying through it. Now, if this was an American, I would say just take some time off, but I'm kind of reading all of this through the filter of a cultural difference here. I don't know how to balance between my study. Maybe it would be a good idea to take some time off of studies to properly grieve your grandfather. Seems like it's bothering you a lot, and that might just be a distraction. Have you spoken to your parents about it? They might be a little more understanding since it's a family problem. Huh. I can see that. Only one of my friends has a significant other. We hang out with or without the significant other, depending on the activity. Yeah, I mean, it's easier before they get married, I'll say that. Not to make complaints, I'm happy for them. And I do hang out with some of the couples sometimes. It's just it's a self-imposed restriction I put on myself. It's more like you don't want to be that annoying guy who's always just barging in on the couple. So you kind of restrict it a certain bit. No one's asking me to do it, but like, so I'm fully aware that it's a self-imposed thing. But, you know, at the same time, sometimes you don't want to be the third wheel all the time too, right? But yeah, work's tricky. I had an epiphany this week about the concept of working and how we're all trying to kind of strive for higher success, make more money, but at the cost of our own personal lives. It just kind of bothered me that like I don't think any working person can really just stay in the same position. Like if they like where they're at, they can't just stay. By function of their job or by society, you're always going to be pressured to do more, to move to a higher position. And if you don't, you eventually end up making too much money for your role. And then you get laid off, or, you know, some other prospective hirer will look at that and be like, that's weird. Why haven't they moved upwards? So, I don't know. Lately, I've been having a bit of an existential crisis regarding my career, but I start my new job on Monday, so we'll find out. But yeah, work really is the biggest hurdle, especially if your friends aren't at work. No, I've always been overly self-introspective when it comes to that sort of stuff. Let's see. Is my chat showing up? Oh my god, my chat hasn't been showing up this whole time. Why didn't anyone tell me? Where's chat? Why? What's going on here? Why is chat not showing up? Why didn't anyone tell me? Oh, someone should have told me. Oh god. I've been streaming without chat showing up this whole time like an asshole. I was like, god damn it. Now the VOD watchers are just gonna think I'm talking to myself like an idiot. Jesus. Alright, well, I guess there's always Twitch bots. But yeah, let's see. I'm glad you're all out here. I feel really alone where I live. Sometimes it's nice to know that you are all out here somewhere in the ether. We work on what we hate in order to do what we love. See, that's the problem, Known. I think sometimes when you don't have something you love, what are you really working for in the end? Oh, you're driving. Oh no! Oh no, you're watching the stream in the car. As long as you're just listening, that's fine. For anyone watching later, don't watch streams and drive. It's unsafe. Unless you have a dash mount for your phone or something. I'm glad you feel that way. I think a lot of us on here feel alone at times. And it's wonderful that we have something like this to rely on. I hope you have a good evening. Working for value, survival. See, survival is a crazy thing because, like, even if you can pay your bills now, you still gotta earn money for the future, right? You're working for the time when you can't work, theoretically. But is that time ever going to arrive? Are we ever gonna stop working? That's what worries me these days. Okay, this is interesting. I'm a student in so once again with the ESLs, right? Just further reinforcing my suspicion. You'll stop at 101. I'll just become destitute and live on the streets. How I would love to be one of those senior citizen streamers that you see every once in a while. I think Food for Dogs is one. And I'm like, wow, what a life. What a life that you could be 70 plus and play like freaking, what's that game? What's that game? That free MMO everyone played when they couldn't afford WoW. RuneScape. Can you imagine being like an 80, 90-year-old geriatric playing RuneScape on Twitch? That would be amazing. What a life indeed. But anyways, let's see here. I'm a student in senior high. I'm a senior student in high school. And I fall in love with a lovely boy. I've fallen in love with a boy. I know I have to study hard, but I also want to give him my heart when I see him. I can't study well. How to keep balance between learning and fondness for the boy. Wow. I gotta say, sometimes the intentions, when verbalized by someone who isn't a native English speaker, are like surprisingly very honest, right? Like very, very rich in honesty compared to how a fluent person would try to express themselves. Let's see. As a student, I want to give him my heart. Hey. If you're finding yourself distracted by this boy, maybe try... Yeah, also interesting to see the influx in work-life balance letters. Yeah, no, it's almost like this game is kind of seasonal, right? Like, depending on the time of year or like on the fan base that sort of appears in this game, like you get very specific questions that are dictated by cultural interest or region. It's very fascinating. You're finding yourself distracted then by this boy. Maybe try handling these issues one at a time. Since you're if you find yourself distracted in your studies by this boy, maybe try talking to him and seeing if he's the type of person that would be into you. If you can establish this first, that'll give you less to think, less to be distracted by. That'll give you less uncertainty to be distracted by. There we go. talking to him, see. You know, like it's easy at least as a Westerner to be like, you know, just tell him you like him, forehead, right? But I could see that being kind of a bigger cultural hurdle here. That'll give you less uncertainty to be distracted. It's a little risky, but you could also be straightforward and just tell him how you feel. Even if he rejects you, you at least have a definitive answer. Definitive answer on this situation, and you can move on with your life. Going out already. Study together. If he likes you, then study together. Good call, good call. I don't know how well that works out, to be honest. You always see it happen in movies, but I'm like, can you really get anything done when you're studying with your significant other? I feel like there'd be a lot, the sexual tension would be incredibly distracting. Worked for you? Alright, well that works. As long as we have confirmation. I always thought it was something that was like, would this really work in theory? I could. Also, depending on how old you are, I suppose, right? My family allowed like construction site. What should I do? Her grades doubled and mine did nothing. Oh. I mean, as long as your grades didn't drop, that's the important part. Good for you, Fana. Doesn't get more distracted like that. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. No, I feel like... I don't know. I just think about horny teens and like, if they're studying together, how the hell are you gonna get anything done as a horny teen? You're not. I can't imagine it. Yeah, man, sexual tension. That shit will drive you nuts. Oh, God. I don't know what to do about this one, because it sounds like... Domestic arguments, bad family situation. Maybe tell them it's distracting you from your studies. I feel like most parents would be receptive if it were affecting something important like that. Otherwise, maybe ask your parents for headphones so you could block out the noise. No, I don't know that. I don't know. I think density is a pretty common thing. I think it's just that, how would I put it? I think we're too old to remember what that was like back then. I remember because it resulted in a lot of cringe moments for me personally. So I have a hard time not forgetting that sort of stuff. It's why this is always fresh in my mind, and why I always feel like I can kind of drop advice in here, because I'm like, God, I remember being so cringe and so silly and so helpless in a lot of ways. Oh, what we got? I dropped another course, so I'm down to 3 this semester. I was ASL. What's ASL? ASL 2, which I love, but just fell so behind it. ASL. American Sign Language. Jesus. I have no motivation or attention span to sit down and do my work, and it's really impacting my school. I can't keep this up. I'll end up hospitalized again. That last part's a little... That's a bit of a curveball there. No motivation or attention span to sit down and do my work. If you're struggling with college, maybe consider taking a gap year. I know a lot of students, especially these days, are struggling with motivation, considering the lacking social element COVID has caused. I had 3 different girls tell me they sent me signals and I did not notice anything. I mean, no, relationships here, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, people love the game. And what people don't realize sometimes is that the game is optional. Yeah, like Fana says right here. Like, get your shit together and say something, right? And I think that may just be something you need to voice up front, right? Like, be like, listen, I've been told I'm bad at catching signals. If you have problems or something, just be upfront. It'll make our lives easier. And then they don't have to worry about you sending signals or being vague and shit, because that means you just say stuff up front. And then everybody has a decent, you know, relatable communication. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But yeah, let's see. No motivation, attention span. So, I mean, if you had college without the social element, college would be shit. Yeah, Fana. No, I agree with you. For all the people I wasn't even dating who got so mad at me for like shit they just wouldn't tell me. And when I would ask directly what's the problem, they'd be like, figure it out. Nothing freaking like triggers me more than like someone who willingly just wants a miscommunication to continue. No, that's not so bad. If you can date in your 20s, that's fine. Dating as a teenager is a whole bunch of not communicating to each other. It's a nightmare. Let's see. I have no motivation or attention to do my work, and it's really impacting my school. Let's see. If you're looking for motivation, maybe just enter the workforce for a bit, even a shitty job, so you can refocus on why you're going to school in the first place. Studying is already so vague. Studying is such a vague objective to begin with. It'll help to to understand the end goal better. Such an abstract objective. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I remember a letter given to me that was just a really long acronym since they added a period after a letter and wrote it in a spiral. Oh god. Oh god. Wait, so was it a love letter note? Like some kind of cryptic, like you needed a cipher to like decrypt the message, but was it a love letter? Because if it was, good on you, man. I mean, however vague or nonsensical it might be, at least these girls are going for you. Even if you don't realize it at the time. Oh man, you're like, listen, thank you for the letter, but like, I don't know what this means. Can you just explain it? And then they just got mad. Oh god, that's, you know, you were too good for them. No, you were too good for them. If they're so narcissistic that they can't accept that, like, that you weren't, that you didn't have the patience to put up with that shit, like, it's fine. You didn't need them. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. All right. Speaking of romantic problems, we're back to standards here now. I'm missing my long distance partner a lot right now, and I'm feeling very overwhelmed by college. I don't know how I'm gonna make it another 2 months without them. It's so much easier to face the day with them by my side. Yikes. College, long distance, relationships. You consider yourself pretty low tier? Dude, you're not low tier if you've got girls dropping messages on you. Even if it's vague as shit. If they're actually expressing interest in you, however dumb a way they're doing it, I don't think that's low tier, man. It's a good strategy. If anyone figures it out, they have the communication skills of a god. I don't know, man. I think you're asking for someone who's equally as dramatic as you if you write shit like that. So in a way, I guess it's sort of a test. But I mean, look at this. See, no, like you're actually getting approaches. Even if they're not the right approaches, you're getting them. That's not low tier. That's not low tier behavior, man. Low tiers don't get shit. I'm a high C tier. I happen to have bad matchups with the most common character picks. Oh my god, how did Fana... Fana is a fighting game player. How did she end up in this... How did she end up in this channel? Oh god, that's hilarious. Somehow, 8 years later, I'm still attracting the FGC. That's wild. Low tier god to rep us. I am the low tier god. I'm very good at my awful matchups. Oh. Oh god, low tier god. I forgot. I haven't watched fighting game streams in such a long time. All those dudes are old as fuck too. You think I'm old? Those guys are old too, man. You're watching geriatrics playing fighting games. So this person, long distance relationship in college. That is a tough one. I'm feeling very overwhelmed by college. I don't know how I'm gonna make it another 2 months. Maybe try making a regular habit of checking in with your partner. Though try not to do so in an overbearing manner. You're both experiencing a new stage of your lives, and you owe it to yourself to try to make new experiences and connections out of it. What am I missing here? To be frank, I watch more Smash than traditional fighters, so maybe I'm not a real one. I don't know, Fana. I think that's arguable these days. Just enjoying my life collecting figures and playing games. No, I don't think you ever really have to grow up from that at this point. Smash is a fighting game. Yeah, we don't believe in gatekeeping here, Fana. It's a different type of fighting game, but that's like saying Soul Calibur isn't a fighting game because it's not, you know, Street Fighter or whatever. But yeah, honestly, like, I think there's a lot of focus as adults for us. There's a lot of pressure as adults that, like, we give up these kind of hobbies that we love because we're old. Like, I still read comics, I still collect comics. Is that why I'm still single? Maybe, but you know, like, at the same time, you also don't want someone who's going to restrict your life as well. So it's fine to be an anomaly in a sense. But yeah, fighting games. Oh god. Even with newer audience members, they're still fighting game people. Yeah, Fana. Someone constantly judging me for my entertainment decisions. Can you imagine not being able to watch a Marvel movie because your relationship partner thought that you should be too old to watch that stuff anymore? Madness. Let's see. Maybe try making a regular habit of checking in with your partner, but try not to do so in an overbearing manner. Have video calls or have weekly calls or video calls and talk about your respective experiences at school. This is a rare opportunity for you to actually have something new and something new to share with each other. I wish you good luck. I know it's a struggle. Anime equals cartoons equals for kids equals you suck. You know, it's a hard thing to kind of express. I will admit, like, whenever I deal with someone on the dating apps, it's like, okay, when do we get to the part where I talk about I play video games? Or like, hey, you've heard of this thing called Twitch? It's a thing I do sometimes. Not like it's weird or anything. Yeah. No, that's exactly it, Known. I mean, it's not about finding someone who has the same exact interests, but like, as long as they're open-minded, right? That's been the thing I've always struggled with growing up, is that like, college, early 20s, I felt like there were always people who were sort of judging my interests. When do we get to the bit where I have to say my favorite movie is absolutely awful? It taught me what a lesbian was. I don't think that's... I think there's a good sort of message to come out of that, certainly. I had to remember what a streamer was by playing Needy Streamer Read Overdose. Let's see. It seems this year I've been relapsing on SH after years of not doing it. SH? And this year has been one I have been going to therapy and I have meds now. Feels I'm not advancing even though I notice changes. My next appointment is next month, but I have no idea what to say. What's SH? SH after years of not alcohol. SH, not cigarettes. Seems I've been relapsing on SH. They're going on therapy, they have meds, it's not depression, it's not... God, I've got no idea what this one is. I don't think I can answer this one, unfortunately. I have meds now. It feels like I'm not advancing though, even though I'm noticing changes. SH. I'm a student majoring in mathematics in university. I will study in probability in the future, but I think I'm not as good as others, so I'm a little confused. There's a joke to be made in that sentence. Probability. Oh god, math major. What are you gonna do with a math degree? Oh man. Oh god, it's oh shit. Self-harm, self-harm. Good call, good call. It seems this year I've been relapsing on self-harm after years of not doing it. And this has been the one I have been going to therapy and have meds now. Okay. Good call, Fana. Self-harm. Oh, Jesus. Alright. Seems this year I've been relapsing on self-harm after years of not doing it. Feels like I'm not advancing even though I notice changes. Let's see. B. As someone who has been there in the past, I totally get it. Mental illness, mental conditions aren't something that aren't... I think the scars are the scariest relationship thing to come up. Yeah, that's an interesting point too. I find that a lot of people don't ask for a long time, right? Like, not even just relationships, but like friendships or associates. They don't ask you about those things until you've known them for quite a while. And when you don't exhibit sort of like self-destructive behavior, they don't ever assume it's something serious. That said, it takes a real big asshole to sort of shame someone for having had problems in the past, though. So I don't know. I used to be worried about that, but lately I don't think the physical scars are as big a deal as I used to think of them as. But maybe that's just something that comes with time. Let's see. Self-harm. As someone who's been there in the past, I totally get it. Mental conditions aren't things that just get better and are always with us. no matter how well we're coping. Let's see. I'd probably end up asking about them, but I'd like to hope I'd understand and not press any harder. I mean, there's nothing wrong about asking questions about unknown. I think the thing is, like, it's an issue of being tasteful, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant and wanting to understand. That just shows the other person that you're not, like, you're not trying to be weirded out by it, or you're not trying to hide it on their behalf. Like, because I think the thing is, when you avoid a subject like that, it sort of inspires an idea of shame in the actual person. So, like, if someone notices the scar and you're like, yeah, no, I did that to myself a long time ago, they're like, oh, never mind. I don't really need to know, right? Like, if they act weirded, yeah. It's you can't kind of ignore it, because otherwise that sort of means, like, I don't know, the person who's asking is like, think it's sort of freakish. And that doesn't send a good message either. At the end of the day, I mean, it kind of goes with all the things we're talking about, right? Like, just be upfront, be respectful, and, like, you know, ignorance is ignorance, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, you don't make a spectacle out of it, obviously, but, you know, if you ask them, or if they're like, you know, they bring it up, by no means should anyone ever feel like they shouldn't be able to talk about it or ask about it. You need to type a contract. No, seriously, Fana. Like, it's a thing I put on my dating profiles. I'm like, hey, I'm too old for this shit. Like, let's just be honest. You know, let's talk. If it's not working out, just say so. I'm an adult. Like, let's just be frank. And it's so weird how so many people are, like, not receptive to that idea. Even still, people are so against just upfront communication. Bring it on every second date, never the first. Yeah, I think it's a good policy. How well we're coping. There is always a chance for us to stumble, and you should never feel ashamed about that. As far as talking to your therapist, if you're on a monthly rotation and you're relapsing, maybe up the frequency. At least to keep a better measure of your mental state. Have no idea what to say. Just try to home in on why you have the impulse to harm yourself. And talk about that. Ah, actually that's a good point. If the meds aren't helping, your doc should know. Yeah, no, that's a good point, Fana. I think we kind of. It's easy to forget as well that, like, yeah, if it's not working, it's not working. You got to keep a close eye on that. Let's see. Aren't helping enough. If the meds aren't helping enough, your doctor should know. There we go. Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes it's a dosage thing. Sometimes you metabolize it faster. Hi, stranger. I'm sorry it's a piece of crap. I need new friends. I feel so tired every day. My best friend doesn't trust me, but I so love her. Sad. Yikes. I'm sorry it's a piece of crap. I need new friends. I feel so tired every day. My best friend doesn't trust me, but I love her. Sad. I intend studying hard more than I'm leaving the city. I don't want to miss her anymore. ESL again? Or just poorly written? Let's see. If your main problem is with this friend, then I think you'll be better off just trying to make new friends. Easier said than done, I know. But it'll probably be the fastest way for you to stop thinking about this one. You should consider looking for friends outside of your school to ensure they're completely separate from what you're dealing with now. Missing people sucks, but it's gonna happen. Yeah, no, I mean, it's... yeah. Grammar, spelling. The American education system has let us down. Or, well, the education system, I should say. I can't assume too much. From who you're dealing with now. Irish. But you guys have cool accents. Nobody's going to notice when you, if you speak funny. Man, you really are a early bird, Fana. You're always on when, like, it's super early for you. More than I'm leaving the city. I don't want to miss her anymore. Other way around. Oh. I guess that makes sense. Sure, they're completely separate from who you're dealing with now. Let's see. Maybe that's about as best as I can do for now. A lot of tricky ones to work around today. I've been thinking of getting a college dorm for my freshman year, but I think my parents want me to stay home with them. And also dorm prices are expensive. I know money is important, but I think I value chasing happiness rather than money. Let's see. This feels a bit like I understand what he's saying. But I think as an adult, as a middle-aged adult, it's really hard for me to kind of ignore the money part, which is sad, right? It's sad that as adults, money is such a big issue that we can't sacrifice it for ideals sometimes. Let's see. D, I get what you're talking about, but unfortunately, dorm prices are nothing. Dorm costs are nothing to scoff at. If you're able to sustain yourself financially, then by all means have at it. But I think once you join the workforce, you'll realize how much of a crazy ripoff it is. That said, living at home doesn't mean you have to sacrifice campus life. Make friends, crash at their dorms, spend more time on campus before going home. I think what I hate more than that is how people say, like, you're too young, you don't need to worry about that. But, like, I do. If I knew what the money situation was, I'd be way less anxious asking for stuff or making budget decisions. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's so much that this guy's being told not to worry about the money. I think maybe he doesn't realize the gravity of it. And it is hard. Oh, hey, hey, Pilgrim, welcome back. One of the most annoying things I've been told in my life a little. Yeah, no, my dad does it all the time. He tells me, why do you always worry about money? Stop worrying about money. And what pisses me off the most about it is because he doesn't deal with the finances. He just makes the money. My mom's balancing the books, and she's constantly worried about the state of their savings. And so I'm ever conscious of that situation. This guy, I think he just doesn't know. And likewise, I didn't really have a good perspective of it until after college. But yeah, how have you been doing, Pilgrim? It's been a while. My parents are finally gone. I can be a degenerate streamer again. Family tries to micromanage my bank account. Oh God. Yeah, that's tough. Because the one thing you want to do as an adult is prove that you're self-sufficient. And it's always, they do it out of love, but sometimes family has a really hard time trying to let you learn how to walk on your own. So you spend more time, make friends, crash at their dorms, spend more time on campus before going home. You'd be surprised. College dorm situations are often pretty horrific for a lot of students. Hey Clue, welcome back. Let's see, but hey, I know they do it because they don't want me to fail, but still smothering. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I feel like your family doesn't really consider you a self-sufficient adult until you hit your 30s. Even then, that's sort of questionable. It took a while, but my parents are mostly at peace with my my career situation, my life situation. They stopped trying to arrange potential suitors for marriage. I'm like, Mom, I'm atheist. Stop trying to make me meet these Christian girls, please. The worst. Oh boy. See, this is how I know we're back to American requesters. I'm in a bad mental state. I have a feeling that I'll never get over her. I'm attached, but she doesn't feel anything. What does this mean? Does this mean this is a one-way thing? Is this guy obsessed with someone who's not interested in him? Or is this a breakup? I get the feeling this isn't a proper relationship. T. Yes to all. Oh, God. I'll never get over her. I'm attached, but she doesn't feel anything. T. Let's see. This person, someone you were involved with, or someone you're infatuated with? I suppose the answer to that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? No point in trying to kind of validate whatever this person's thinking. I'm in a bad mental state. I'm attached, but she doesn't feel anything. No point trying to validate. Canceled. I mean, that's what I'm worried about here, right? Because either way, regardless of whether this is a result of a breakup or if this is a one-sided infatuation, we don't want to validate that it's okay to kind of be obsessed with someone who's not interested in you, right? It's good that you're aware that you're It's good that you're aware of the unhealthy nature of this. It definitely isn't a good thing to be obsessed with someone who has no interest in you. It's definitely your problem, not someone else's. Yeah, and I don't think this person's really putting it on the other party. I think he's just sort of lamenting, or like, doesn't know how to deal with it. And I feel like this is also something you could feel as a middle schooler. Like, I understand that. Not so much that I understand it, but I remember the feeling, I should say. Definitely isn't a good thing to be obsessed with someone who has no interest in you. Let's see. In terms of coping with this situation, consider how much it affects you personally. Does it get in the way of things? Or interferes with daily life? If so, you may want to consider talking to a specialist about it, since there's no easy way to really get your mind off things. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Especially if things like hobbies or other such distractions aren't doing it for you. Because sometimes also the mere mentioning of the word therapist will often shock people into kind of reevaluating how serious the situation is, while slightly suggesting the idea of, hey, you know, maybe just do some other stuff to get your mind off of it. Tough for adolescent, that's for sure, but we do the best we can. Okay. If all the surrounding emotional... Oh god, we're getting existential here. If all of the surrounding emotional factors do not exist, then what is the meaning of human existence? I lived so far, the pain is far greater than the pleasure, so I wish I had never been born. I do find the whole getting hooked on people kinda weird, like I didn't want this to happen. Yeah, it's, yeah, human attraction is an interesting thing, and like, it was very, I watched a YouTube video recently from Jaden Animations, and she had this whole video about her identity as asexual aromantic. I found it very fascinating and kind of envious in a way. I was like, wow, that'd be great. To not be weirdly like hyper focused on a person I'm attracted to. Why can't I be like that? Shit. I live so far, so they're just unhappy then. How to respond to this one? You know, I had a talk with a friend earlier today. And it's like, she said something that really stuck to me, which is the idea that none of us asked to be born, right? And so why should we feel some sort of obligation to like have to live or to be happy with the fact that we just exist, right? With no emotional factors, I mean, it's practically biology at that point. What is the meaning of human existence? Society, half joking, half truthfully. Let's see. I don't think it's necessary to get that philosophical in order to be at peace with your existence. Let's see. Good thing we're stuck with the emotional factors. I think you can totally answer what is the meaning of human existence in like 300 characters. I believe in you. Can do it in 13. Just live, forehead. It is a bit melodramatic, right? Like, this definitely gives me sort of teenage angst vibes. Let's see. I live so far. I don't think it's necessary to get to be at peace with your existence. Sounds like you've lived a rough life. Even if your life has been rough, I think the fact that you're still living means you have the opportunities. I think the fact that you're still living means you have the opportunities to try to make it better. Means you can... I think the fact that you're still living means you're able to struggle to make it better. The fact that you means there's the fact that you still live. I had a phrase like this for a while too. The fact that you still live means you still have the potential to change it, to turn it around. And so this is kind of a mantra I sort of had personally, especially for the longest time when dealing with depression. Because the thing is, you could always kind of just end your life or whatever, right? Like, suicide's always, and this is a bit of a trigger warning, I guess, but like, you know, if you're unhappy with your lot in life, suicide's always an option. But the thing is, as long as you're alive, you have the ability, or at least the probability, the chance, the likelihood, the whatever you want to call it, does exist for you to be able to turn that into a favorable position. So, death can always come later, is sort of, which, you know, isn't really a good message to spread out into the universe upon deeper reflection. But that's kind of how I went about it, right? I think the thing is like, yeah, but do you really have to go that extreme immediately? You could always, you always have the ejector seat option later. So why not keep trying while the opportunity is still there, I guess. Why rush into death? Let's see. I don't think it's necessary to get that philosophic in order to be at peace with your existence. Even if your life has been rough, I think the fact that you still live means you still have the potential to turn it around. Sounds sappy and idealistic, I know. But at the end of the day, that's the truth of it. We live so we can end up in a happier situation for ourselves. And it's a struggle, don't get me wrong. But that's the hope we all kind of operate on in trying to live. I don't think it has to be more, you know, forget it. I think I'll just leave it there. That's about as good as we'll get, probably. I mean, they're not talking about suicide, at least, but it's just... I can kind of conceptualize the idea. I think at some point, most people who've hit depression in their lives, they reach a point where they're like, it would have been better not to have born. And I think in a lot of cases, that's not necessarily a wrong way of thinking. It's definitely an existential conundrum, but I don't think it's as bad as committing to the idea of suicide. I don't know, I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but... Let's see. Hello, I'm trans masculine? And looking for a better name for myself. I feel like I've seen everything the internet has to offer at this point. My favorite is Theo. Follow-ups being Ollie, Indy, Nico, Liam, and more. Looking for an androgynous name that leans masculine. Harper? Is Harper also masculine? I've only ever heard of Harpers who are girls, actually. Layton I've never heard of. Morgan's a good androgynous name, I'd say, but... Theo? This one's actually a nice, rather lighthearted request. Harper's interesting. Riley's a good one. Let's see. Leaning towards Theo. How about these? Robin's interesting. It's funny because it's really hard to ditch the association of Robin from, of course, the Batman Robin. And what's sort of funny about the name Robin is that it's like, because of that association with Batman Robin, it's always been sort of harped on as a weirdly androgynous sort of identity. But yeah, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem, true. I'd say Riley. I actually like the name Riley for girls, because it's unexpectedly androgynous, and I kind of like it. It seems like it's got some bite to it. It seems like a tough girl name almost. Riley, Morgan. Let's throw a couple more in there. Nico doesn't strike me as masculine leaning. Liam, I didn't know Liam was androgynous. Ollie's a good one. Brick. Just Brick. Nothing more androgynous than an inanimate object with no gender, right? That's another good one. Ooh. Because I have a habit of sort of like, if a girl's name has sort of a masculine version, I like to call them that. What's a good one? Shit, I had one in the back of my head too. Damn. Fletcher? Isn't that kind of a last name, Dude Boom? Welcome back, by the way. You just kind of ninja'd out of nowhere there. Alex is a good one. That's true. Alex is a good androgynous name these days. Chris. Chris as well. Mel. Once upon a time, Mel Gibson was a respectively masculine person. Unfortunately, he's kind of crazy, but at one point he was respected that way. Actor names are always a good source for these. Alright, let's see. I told my therapist I think I have OSDD1B. On the one test I took, we got one short of the levels, which would have been higher if I didn't mishear things. Brought that up but never talked about it again. Years later, I still think I have it. Experiences implied that I don't know what to do. OSDD, obsessive SD. What is this? People are really heavy on the acronyms when it comes to mental health. Is a subtype of other specified dissociative disorder type 1, where the members of the system are differentiated from each other but do not experience amnesia of events between members. Multiplicity? Oh, wow. How do we... Very, very interesting. Other specified dissociative disorder. Brought that up but never talked about it again. Year later, I still think I have it. Alright, well, simple enough. Let's see messages, yeah. Don't feel like you have to be tied to the one therapist you've known. If you have reason to think that they're not taking your condition seriously, or that they're not taking your condition or input seriously, you can always try seeking another professional to see if they could do better. If not, you always have the option to go back. But just don't forget, you have options in the first place. Huh. Year later, I think I still have it. Good luck. I hope you're able to find the right treatment for yourself. Yeah, I wonder. Other specified dissociative disorder. I don't even know how you would begin to work with that. I feel like you'd need more than a therapist to get you through something like that. All right, we're close to midnight around my time. I think I'll call this LG for the night. Had a healthy 2 hours. Let's see. Oddly relevant to my personal woes lately. Let's see. I have a job I don't really like, but it helps me not be dependent on my family. I am at a loss as to whether to pursue a dream that has no meaning or to pursue a life that has no meaning. Down to earth said. I don't know what that last part's about. Let's see. I think it's a bit much to attribute your life's meaning to your job. It certainly helps if you like your job, but there are people who get by on working to live, not living to work. The meaning of life is me. Life exists because I exist. I think, therefore I am. The world ceases to exist when I cease to exist. Anyone ever have that sort of thought? I remember a long time ago when I was younger, I used to wonder if people still existed when they fell out of my line of sight, right? So imagine like you're in 2 rooms. Both rooms are full of people. If you're in one room, have you ever wondered if the people in the other room were still there once you close the door? Or is that kind of like a psychopathic kind of tendency? Yeah, lack of object permanence, right? I used to wonder that for quite a while, and I always wondered if anyone else thought that. Until I read a Stephen King novel, and one of the characters did think like that, but that character was completely deranged and psychotic, so I wasn't sure what to make of that. Oh, man. But yeah, let's see. I think it's a bit much to attribute your life's meaning to your job. It certainly helps if you like your job, but there are definitely people who get by on working to live, not living to work. If you could shift your perspective to the former, you might find your personal situation more tolerable. But at the end of the day, there's no reason why you can't seek out a job you like as well. It's a tough road, no doubt. But I think one of the worst things you could do is confine yourself. Confine yourself by thinking you're not allowed to deviate from your current path. Something like that. And well, brain oatmeal, we'll call that. I won't wish you happy today. I will wish. Blah, 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 blah. Better as an airplane. Don't pollute this community with such kindness. You can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna be unhappy just to spite things. Get banned for positivity. This is against the terms of service. How dare you? Alright. Let's see what the world has sent to me. So today's personal issue, is a bit of an existential crisis of my own. How many people read the TOS on anything? So basically, I've been on a bit of a break. I mentioned, I think last time, I quit my last job. I'm actually starting my new job on Monday. but I had 2 weeks to kind of like wind down from the working mindset. And part of what kind of came up is the existential dread of continued working, right? And I was talking about this earlier in the stream, but the idea that like even if I'm happy with a current position that I'm at, even if it's limited pay, there's always this kind of unspoken pressure to keep moving up. You gotta work harder, you gotta take more responsibility, you gotta get more pay, right? And so what I find sort of personally dooming is the notion that I'm just constantly going to have to work harder for the rest of my life. Social Security being what it is, and you know, the economy and the likelihood of your finances being enough to get you through retirement, I feel like it's just, yeah, climbing endlessly. And like, how realistic is it to actually retire? Work is simply to fund your existence. And like, that's basically it, right? Like, you have to work because you're going to live. And you'll never be working enough because down the road you won't be able to work as hard. You won't be able to make as much money. And you're going to need those savings to get by. Social status of a higher position is really the only other thing than money. Yeah, I mean, kind of, but at the core of it, I think it really is money. Rat walk wouldn't be so bad, personally. If I could only work for money, I mean, I am just working for money. But that in itself is already kind of scary too. It's just like, you're never going to not need money. And that's what's sort of existentially terrifying to me. Is the idea that I'm probably going to work until I die. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I can't just stay at a same position. If I like enjoy the exact spot I'm in, there's an implication that I'm always going to have to move up. Otherwise, you know, I'm sort of dead weight within a company. I'll get laid off because eventually they're going to decide the cost of living raise has gotten too high for someone just staying in the same position. Yeah, 401k, I don't know if that's really as reliable as people keep saying. Like, no doubt it helps, but I don't know, like, only if you make enough money for those contributions to actually be enough later on, right? And so the idea is like, you know, even if you want to coast by, you can't. Your company will expect you to move up. Any other company you end up working for will question why you've stayed in the same role for such a long time. Like, it's societally, it's kind of crazy that you can't just stay at a comfortable position forever. Invest in gold bars. Just smelt some gold ingots. Keep them under your mattress. Gold is one of the better investments. That is true. But yeah, so that's kind of been my personal concern that I've thrown out into the ether. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Fana, like, if I could just be good at a thing, even if it's a simple thing, like, I enjoy being good at my job. I hate that by nature of my job, I have to become good at more things and more things until it's like, you know, it becomes a different job than I'm doing. But that's just life. And that's, you know, the state of society, the state of technology. It's a thing we can't really get past unless, you know, you become a barista or something, which is really a lottery dream, if anything. Yeah, inflation, the economy, hell, freaking governmental collapse, the decline in birth rates, so our social security money doesn't mean as much anymore. Identity theft. Money sucks, man. Money is like the worst part of being an adult. Anyways, as I preach as a man in my late 30s. Let's see. So what is this person writing back? It does bother me, but if I can find a job I enjoy doing, I'm fine working till I die. Even if I work till I die, I think I'll still find something to enjoy in life. Whether that is my coworkers, the food I eat, my walk back home, or the weather, I perceive work as a way to help us live. I can obtain or do things that make me happy or relax by simply working. I'll be fine. I may take a long time getting what I want, but I'll still get it in the end. What's your definition of relaxing, by the way? Oh, man. And I guess this is an issue of perspective, right? Like, whereas I'm sort of bitching about the inevitability of having to work all the time, this person's more kind of approaching it as like, I'm thankful that I have work so that I can do these other things. And I think that's the crux of it, right? Like, you need other stuff to live for, obviously. But I think if you don't have those things immediately, it's trickier to kind of come to peace with it. People who have families or children. Sisyphus versus the person who likes work. I think it would be a different thing if I was doing it for someone. You know, like most people, I think we find that we have an easier time enduring hardship when it's for the sake of others rather than ourselves. Let's see. Oh, and for the listeners who are watching the VOD but can't read everything, my request is, does the thought of working till you die ever bother you? I don't think many of us will realistically get to retire at a semi-reasonable age. It was really a buzzkill for me this week and made me wonder about how I could ever just relax in the end. But yeah, work for my daughter sort of thing. And there's a certain nobility to that, right? Like, I think if you feel like you're doing these things for the sake of others, then that somehow adds a certain amount of pride to what you're doing, even if you don't like the work you're doing. Which is a big, sick irony, because you shouldn't need children to feel okay about working. So let's see. M writes, you know, if this worries you, you don't have to accept it. You can join groups or create groups who are committed to making change. Ooh. You can think up ways people can live more balanced lives. You can inform people of different ways they can ensure they will enjoy a retirement. You can write about your concerns and send them to newspapers, political representatives, and more. The joining groups bit can be fun and actually help you make friends. Understand that you can do something. This feels very activist of them. I'm not sure how I feel about this response. It's not a matter, like, even if I don't accept it, I still have to do it. Of course, I could just join a commune or something, I suppose. Become a mountain monk. Some people feel pride for themselves. Yeah, some people do. It's time to overturn the world order. Pro-socialist America. Honestly, if AOC ran for president, I'd vote the shit out of her. Like, I do like that sort of thing. I'm the baby. You know, I wish I could see that. Like, I wish I could think of it that way for myself. Like, I don't know. I think it's just I'm a little too obsessive about concerns for the future, right? Because I could be like, yeah, fuck this. I'm gonna spend my money and do stupid shit. Live fast, do cocaine, whatever. But, oh God, I can't. People end up homeless for a reason, you know? People end up crazy, homeless, or like die on the street. Like, these things are real. I don't know. Cocaine isn't very fun. You know what I mean. Invest in Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Apparently Pokemon cards as well, right? Let's see. Jay writes, yeah, all the time, you're definitely not alone in that worry, but we can't control the state of the economy on our own. I know it's easier said than done, but if you can't do anything about it right now, try to let it go. It's only putting a damper on your ability to try and enjoy the now. Ugh. The positivity. 3 ash blossoms. It's blinding. Seriously, Scott, I feel like sometimes there are people who when they smile, their faces turn into the sun, and it just hurts your eyes to look at them. You're like, fuck, you're so wholesome and happy. And you mean so goddamn well, it's painful to look at. There are those people. And like, you know, great for them. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Am I alone in thinking that? Is it ever like, do you ever find it unnerving when people are just that positive? Like, I'm like, you gotta be in denial about some shit. Like, that's crazy. Oh my God, we're getting into Karl Marx. Here we go. Hi Jay, I have the same concerns with the current economic affairs. It's partly why I started reading more about communism and anarchy. I'm a socialist now with Marxist tendencies. Some reading resources I'd recommend if you're in the US are Jacobin Magazine, A People's Guide to Capitalism by Hadi Pierre, and The Socialist Manifesto by Bhaskar Sankara, The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. The Penguin Classics hardbound is gorgeous. Ooh, we got into communist territory. Shame that just like capitalism, it's built on problems and destined for failure. Yeah, I was gonna say, this maybe... Did I just send out a signal? Hello, communism never hurt nobody. Oh God, tell that to Ukraine. No, just kidding. I shouldn't joke about that. No, I mean it's definitely a politically motivated political hotspot, right? A hotspot of a topic there. Like, I almost feel like I shot a signal flare to all these activists to be like, come try to convert me. I'm unhappy with the current world order, and it's not even really just that either. Like, I don't think my concerns are really politically motivated. Politically charged it to 90%. I'm just personally concerned about my long-term existence is all. I don't know. As someone with shaky mental health to begin with, that's really where I'm coming from, but I wasn't really expecting, you know, these pseudo-evangelists to kind of come out of the woodwork. But that's, I mean, I guess the intentions are still there. you get a robot cube. But yeah. Shaky mental health and shades. Good way to look at it. But yeah, that's today's stream. Thank you guys for dropping by. I know it's been like almost a month since I did one of these. As mentioned before, the parents are gone, so I've got a bit more freedom to myself again, pending this new job. We've got a bit more material to mix it up with, so you know, I think it's about a good time to start bringing back Social Link Saturday and Sunday. We'll do some fighting games on the side. We'll keep Kind Words as the main, especially since we seem to be getting more variety in the types of issues that come up. And you know, I'm liking these conversations, and I appreciate you guys in chat dropping by as usual, despite the lack of consistency I have going on. It's always fun to have these sort of discourses with you guys, and I don't know, one day if we can expand out the audience, it would be great. I would love to just, you know, if we could somehow convert this to like a regular sort of chat conversation, I feel like it'd be huge. But, you know, goals for the future or something like that. But yeah, thank you guys for dropping by, even at this late hour. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Tell your friends if they're, you know, if they too feel lonely, want to have discussions, talk about, you know, mental health and all that, or play fighting games, or like anime, send them over here. Let's try to build a community again, I guess. But yeah, enjoy your weekends. See you guys next time.